long bout of silence and a brief stint on the PSP, everybody's favorite survival horror creepfest is finally making its proper return to consoles with Silent Hill: Homecoming. Long-running Japanese developer Team Silent has handed over the reins to some new untested blood, causing uncertainty to linger in the air like the town's thick haze of fog. Do these fears manifest into reality?
Is it worth $1 million?
Much more than that. This is a symbol of our family's past.
People don't trust me anymore. I can't protect them.
Protect them from what? What did you do?
After a brief tour of duty, Homecoming hero Alex Shepard has returned to his sleepy town, only to find more than a few things out of place.
The town seems empty. All the stores are closed or boarded up. What's going on?
Most of the residents have packed up shop, and Alex's little brother Josh has suddenly turned up missing. More disturbing is that an ominous fog has enveloped the streets, and nightmarish creatures have begun trickling out from within the town's dark corners. In the search for your brother, you'll soon come to uncover the mysterious connection between your town and the enigmatic Silent Hill, where chilling in-game clues and harrowing scenarios are effectively used in setting the tone of Homecoming's dark world. Alex's troubled tale, on the other hand, isn't quite as inspired. The psychological thrills are a bit more straightforward this time around, but there's still enough monsters and mysteries to see you through to the end.
I know all about Silent Hill.
You don't know anything about Silent Hill.
Silent Hill: Homecoming hits you with all the essentials of a survival horror game, where dangers have to be braved, puzzles have to be solved, and munitions have to be parceled out in careful reserves. The game stays true to the formula, right down to the sound effect that plays as you pick up a health drink. The streets of Shepard's Glen, and later Silent Hill, play out at an even pace, sporting an even mix of action and brainbenders to supplant each other when the time calls for it. And for once, objectives aren't quite as cryptic as the clues left behind for you to unravel. Immediate goals are clearly listed for quick reference, and the ever-handy map now automatically scrolls down notes, depending on where you've been. Along with the map, two of Silent Hill's more salient features, the flashlight and radio, also see their return. As enemies draw near, the indicative hiss of the radio alerts you to their presence, while the dim glow of the flashlight illuminates the immediate path in front of you. These simple, PlayStation-era mechanics still add greatly to the tense atmosphere, and atmosphere is everything for a franchise like Silent Hill. Branching conversation trees that appear during certain encounters in the game ultimately lead you towards one of the game's 5 endings and bonus costumes. There is plenty of reason to take a trip back to town after completing the initial 10-hour quest on normal difficulty. For all of Homecoming's minor innovations, it also has its fair share of cliches. Predictable event triggers and the good old slider puzzle make their expected appearances, but for the most part, Homecoming's experience is comprised of a good mix of old and new.
You're right. Things tend to stay in one place around here.
It's fair to say that a good majority of Silent Hill: Homecoming entails a bit of detective work and exploration as you prowl the streets in search of leads. But when it comes time to tango with some seriously misshapen nurse outfits, you know that it's time to go for the jugular. Alex's prowess as a soldier definitely shows. In battle, he's a deft duelist, able to duck and weave through the game's cavalcade of creepy crawlies with ease. For most games, that would be good news, but for Silent Hill, it takes the edge off the scare factor. With the right weapon and tactics, most enemies can be taken out with melee attacks without much difficulty. If you use a firearm, combat is a cakewalk. The polish applied to combat is definitely appreciated, but the game hasn't been rebalanced with it in mind. It takes away the tension, which is what the series has built its name on. Thankfully, combat isn't the sole focus, as it maintains a proper balance with puzzle solving and exploration.
I don't think he made it. Come on, we need to find Dr. Finch.
We'll be safe underground. Come on.
Team Silent may be out of the director's chair, but you wouldn't have guessed it from one look at the graphics. The game's assortment of monsters and dreary landscapes is rendered with a careful eye for the derelict, embellishing the darkness with the rustic glaze of 35mm film grain. Homecoming even takes some noticeable cues from the movie, using the telltale paint peeling to great effect in the horrific transportations to the other world. The improvements aren't entirely cosmetic, though. With higher storage capacity and processing available, Homecoming benefits from near-seamless environments. The result is a terror that's immediate and consistent with very few loading screens. Series veteran Akira Yamaoka once again provides the soundtrack, and as expected, it shines in the dreary, industrial way you'd expect.
Alex, I'm so sorry.
Stop pretending you care about me. Start telling me what's going on.
Silent Hill's road to re-emergence is filled with its share of bumps, but Homecoming still delivers a solid follow-up worthy of its lineage. And that's also the problem. The development team has played it safe, delivering a game that maintains the status quo. It will make fans giddy, but those without preconceived notions will find it to be a bit clunky and growing long in the tooth.
Well, well. Back in the world of the living.